Hello, guys. Welcome to the One and Out podcast. We are on episode 27 today, and we are absolutely hyped. I am absolutely hyped because we have a special guest here today from the Professional Disc Golf Tour, and a good friend of mine, good friend of Jack's, which, by the way, quick round of applause just specifically for Jack. Welcome back to the pod. Hasn't been here in ages. So if you're an OG on the podcast, you know Jack is part of the crew, but he hasn't been here in a while, so.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute, but Jack's back. But the more important guest today is Micah Groth. Let's clap him in, baby. Welcome in, Micah. Welcome in.
What up, boys? How we doing?
How you doing, Dad, brother? How you doing?
Hey, how we doing?
You feeling good?
Feeling great, man.
Feeling
Thanks
great?
for having me on the pod.
Of course, dude. Literally, my pleasure. Just to kind of, first off, before I, pound you with questions for like, an hour straight, just to kind of give you guys a background. I've known Micah, how long have we known Micah?
Probably since the early homeschool days, so like 2011,
Like
2012.
kindergarten.
Yeah, literally.
It was Beyond the Books.
Oh, yeah, Beyond the Books.
Beyond the books.
Beyond
that's
the books,
right.
I
too.
forgot about that. So, yeah, we've literally known each other since, like, kindergarten. This dude is... I'm about to do some meat right. No, but this dude is so talented. Like not only at disc golf, like, bro, didn't you like literally used to be like a crazy archer? Like, didn't you do archery?
Yeah, I
like
did
you were
archery.
like top in the nation,
Yeah,
like literally.
up there. Yes, sir.
And like I feel like you've just been able to like pick up hobbies and just be like cracked at it, like out of nowhere.
Sometimes.
I don't know. That's just the vibe I get, but. Obviously been one of my really good friends for like ever, basically.
Mm-hmm. You taught me how to do addition.
Yes,
That's
true,
how long it's
true.
been, man.
Literally, it's we've been around for a long time. But in his most recent ventures of picking up sports and just being an absolute dog, this one seemed to stuck around a little bit.
Yeah, it
longer
stuck
than
around for a
most.
little while.
You picked up disc golf. So when did you start playing disc golf, like just recreationally?
I started playing disc golf 2017, around there. I lived in Wisconsin. When did I live here?
Oh, geez, you left.
Probably like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
That's
and
so sad.
my mom bought us a basket,
Yep.
me and my dad, for Christmas, and we just played catch with the frisbees, and we just.
And you
loved
had
it.
plenty of room in the backyard.
Yeah,
because
we
you guys had a
did. We
big
just
backyard.
we never took advantage. We didn't even know what disc golf was at the time. We just kind of played catch with the frisbees, man. We didn't even know there was courses or anything.
Yeah.
And then we moved to South Carolina. We had those discs, and my uncle got into it, and he was like, "Bring your frisbees. We're gonna go play a frisbee golf course." And I was like, "What is that?"
What is that? Yeah.
I'm just gonna bring the frisbees. And we played at Rohan Springs in Huntsville, Alabama, and like I was hooked ever since.
I
man.
bet.
It's
So,
crazy.
just to give people from a disc golfer to
Yeah.
like just the general public,
Mm-hmm.
disc golf, what like is it?
Yeah, so disc golf is just like normal golf, normal
Yeah.
ball golf. It's scored the same way, but instead of putting your golf ball into the cup, you put your frisbee into the basket, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Kind of like this metal contraption. It has to come dressed inside. Again, exact same rules. It's a solo sport, and it's just played like ball golf, but with discs or frisbees.
Yeah. So you've been saying you've been playing for a long time. When did you? So initially, like when you started playing, like when you were introduced by your uncle, did you like instantly like know? Where you're like, dude, I'm good at this. Like, is that how it was instantly or no?
No, I got absolutely dogged on by my uncle and
Really?
my dad. It was insane. Like I was so young. I was like 12 years old, man, and like I just couldn't throw as far as they could, and they dominated. Like it was crazy.
When did the turnover become from when they were consistently beating you to when you
So
consistently?
I've been
beat them?
homeschooled my whole life, and so I got to practice. Like I would finish a subject, go practice for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
finish another subject, go practice for 20 minutes, and like I just started practicing. My dad was like, "It's not fair anymore," because like I have to work all day, and then he's dominating, and then all of a sudden it started to get close, and I was like, "How's my dad catching me again?"
Yeah.
And it turned out my mom found out that he was going to work an hour early, at 5 o'clock in the morning, just to practice to be able to beat me.
Wow.
That is crazy.
So there was a month
Wow.
stretch where he caught back up and started beating me again, and so I worked extra hard that month.
I
And
bet.
Yeah, and then I passed him and haven't really looked back since.
Yeah, obviously. So when did you officially? So you started. When was your first tournament? Like, did you
First
play like
tournament,
recreational?
2018. Yeah, I played it. My first event was a juniors tournament,
Okay.
and did not play good there. I didn't know like what the level of competition was. I came in pretty confident, and then I couldn't keep up. Like everybody threw so much further than I did, and it humbled me a lot.
Humbled it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I would guess that's how it is for a lot of sports. Like when you
Yeah.
come in, especially with like a sport that you kind of like are at least a little bit newer to, and you're like
Mm-hmm.
coming in, you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to be like all that. And then you come in and you're like, shoot, there's hundreds of other kids
Yeah, I know.
that have been
Yeah.
working at this maybe even longer than you have. You
Yeah.
know? So I'm sure that was eye-opening. But then moving on from that, was the first tournament, like when did you start really finding success and moving on
Yeah.
to the point where you started, winning tournaments, then realizing, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to take this to a pro level?
Yeah, so after that event, I worked my butt off. I was like, oh my gosh, these kids are good. I'm like, I have to get better. So then I started practicing probably 5 hours a day. Like, if I had a break, I was going to go play disc golf.
Okay,
and
wow.
so then my next tournament, I played in recreational, which is open to all ages.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like your lower novice level. I took second, and they said you can't play novice anymore. Like, you're too good for this. I was like, all right, we're moving up. Slowly moved up the ranks. And then I started playing advanced, and like the tournament nerves just got to me so bad. Like, I was just so shaky. And putting is really hard when you're nervous.
I bet,
Like, it's
yeah.
really easy to overthink stuff.
It's how it is in golf, too. Like, real
Yeah,
golf, with
exactly.
putting, nerves
Yeah.
is a real thing.
Like
so
a
disc golf
2-footer
is
should be a gimme, but when you're nervous, like it's tough. So it wasn't till I started hanging out with some of the up and comers in my area, Evan Scott and Jake Mon. I started hanging out with them, and just like to see how cool they were during a tournament, and just like how chill they were. I was like, wait, it's really not that nerve wracking.
It doesn't. You don't need to be that stressed out about it.
You don't have to be that stressed out. And so, like, my very second round playing with them, I shot 1,000 rated, which is pretty much just like scratch golf, breaking even in golf. It's like, it's not the
Especially-
exact same, but it's pretty similar.
Especially
So,
on was that like on a pro level course basically, or similar-ish?
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's a little easier, but
Still, yeah,
that's where I
top
shot my
championship
first
course.
1,000 rated round. I think it was like 8 under or something
Wow.
like that. So, yeah, it was pretty solid, and then I haven't looked back since.
So yeah, then when did you win your first tournament and then officially declare to the pro tour?
So I won my first pro tournament in, I believe, 2021.
Okay.
I beat the legend Michael Johansson, which at the time he was just insane. I look up to him. I was 15 years old, and I beat him. And I birdied like the last 5 holes to finish just to beat him, and it was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, I just beat the legend, dude. I was like, everybody was talking like, oh, he's gonna win this tournament. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna shoot my best out there, and that was a B tier, so I was allowed to take cash. It's just really funky how the way the PGA rules work. You can stay. Oh, it was right after that, actually. So actually, I declared pro when I won NADGT in 2021.
Okay.
That was my last amateur event. That was a crazy nerve-wracking stretch. Like, I made it. So there's this YouTube channel called Jomas Productions.
Okay.
They have probably 400K subscribers now, and they make the best premium disc golf content out there. And they just film professional disc golf tournaments. I was like, this is what I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And I got it on there, and ended up winning that event along with $10,000.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah. And I was like, at first I was gonna decline it because I wanted to go win the Junior World Championships. Which, if you take money, you can't go play those events. But I ended up taking it. That's when I declared pro, and then my very next event.
I was gonna say, so you had that choice to take that 10K or go try to win the Junior World Championships. How long did it take you to make that? Did you have to make that decision right there, or how long did you
before
have?
I went on the podium, I had to make the decision. Is what they told me. I went up there and I said I was going to decline it, but he's like, if you change your mind, let me know. You have to let me know by tomorrow. And I was calling up all these touring pros, like all the people I was looking up to, like Jeremy Colling and Adam Hammes. I was like, should I take it? Should I not? And they said I should take it and just move on.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's probably, especially at that age, it's pretty hard to say no to.
I was
$10,000
15 years old.
check.
Like, I had never even
$10,000.
seen a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Like, it was just insane. But like, I was so disappointed the way I played Junior Worlds. I ended up taking third, but I was 15 in the 18 and under division, so I was the youngest person in there, and I took third. And I was like, I can come back and win this event. And I really wanted to, but I decided that $10,000 was worth more than a trophy.
Yeah, $10,000 at 15 years old is pretty nice, and then to say you get to go play on the pro
$10,000 at any age.
Yeah, there's
I'll
not
take it right now for sure.
Yeah, there's not a single age. So then, moving on in your disc golf story, you declared to the pro tour.
Yep.
Do you think like right away? Did you start to have nerves again with that being on the pro tour?
For sure.
For the first
Like
time?
the pro tour, my first event again. I think I had just turned 16. It was the very next year, and I was just so nervous. I threw my first shot straight OB, like I just shanked it right. It was so bad, but like I ended up cashing my first ever tournament.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much was that?
It wasn't that much. It was probably like $400.
That's
It paid
nice.
for gas to go to Texas.
Yeah,
So
convenient.
it counts, man. And so I did that with a really good final round to jump into that last cash position, which if you didn't know, the top 40% of the field get money.
Okay.
And it just kind of gradually goes down from the top. So the winner might get 10K and the next person gets 8, then it's 5, then 3. And it just
So on and
makes
so
its way
forth.
down. Yeah. I played Texas State's. I also played Champions Cup at the time, which was a major.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
just
So
like
how
the
do
US
majors
Open.
work in
So
disc
there's
golf?
there's 4 to 5 majors depending on the year,
Got it.
and those are the biggest events. They have the most amount of money, and those are the ones that are like the most renowned, and everybody's wanting to play good at those because that's how you get your name out there, is playing at those great.
That's how it is in like a lot of sports. I mean, that's how it
Most
is with
sports,
golf,
yeah.
tennis. Even now, like for me, I've been playing like spike ball tournaments with my brother. That's how it is with spike ball
Yeah.
too. Like the majors are like you make big money there.
Yep,
You,
yep.
like if you want to have that chance to like move up divisions or whatever.
Yeah.
That's actually one question I have. So how did I know you were explaining like how you moved up in the ranks.
Yeah.
How do divisions work in disc golf? Like what do you start as and like how do you move up?
Yeah. So it's all off ratings,
Okay.
and ratings are pretty tough to explain if you don't know what they are. But again, the best way I can say it is like scratch is like even
Yep.
in golf, and you can't really compare it to like courses are much easier in disc golf. It's much easier than ball golf, so it's hard to compare it to that. But just like you have lower ratings, just like handicaps,
Yep.
and then like that's how you separate the divisions is based off
Okay.
your rating. So just you have MA3, MA2, MA1, Pro.
Got
And
it.
then you have age protected divisions, which are like MA40, MA50,
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
MA60. So
Okay. So that all makes sense. So then you start playing that pro tour. When do you think you just felt like you really started to like kind of get your groove on the tour?
that's when I did like my first ever tournament on the Pro Tour. I cashed. I was like, I can do this. I'm 16 years old. I've still got a lot of career ahead of me. And I'm like, let's full send it.
do this.
And somehow, winning NAGT, I got half of the tour card, which means half of the event's paid for.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
have to pay in to get in, so they paid it for me.
That's nice.
And I played Champions Cup, and I went right to Jonesboro after that in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I was playing the event, and that is when my finger problem started to happen.
Yeah,
And-
that was literally one of my next
yeah.
questions.
So
Injuries.
I was 16. I felt like I was finding my groove. And during the first round of the Jonesboro Open, it's a kind of a crusher course. You have to throw pretty far to be able to compete, and so you're throwing as hard as you can, almost every tee shot. And just the stress finally got to my finger, and I partially tore the tendon along the right side of your finger.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna wait 3 weeks and hope I can play my next big event, which is the Tennessee State's Championships. So I waited 3 weeks, felt fine. I was like, all right, I guess we're ready to go. And I went to Tennessee, and I was practicing, and there's this long hole that you have to throw as hard as you can down the hill. It's a par 4. You want to get way down there, so you just have an easy approach.
Yeah.
And I felt like I connected really well with it, but as soon as it let out of my hand, like there was just an immediate pain. I was like, oh no. We had just driven 5 hours to Tennessee, and just to play a practice round, and I tore the tendon completely, tore it completely off, and like that
That's
was rough. And like I think I actually came here. That's when I came back
I was
during that
literally-
healing process.
I was
yeah.
gonna say, so like you obviously you moved to South Carolina a while ago,
Yeah.
but you know I feel like this might be greedy to say, but it kind of feels like you know when you have had moments of like being like, all right, I need a break, I need to reset.
Yeah.
I feel like you've kind of came here.
Yeah,
like
I just come here all the time, man.
because
This is
like
the vibe, bro.
you might as well. I mean, first off, like obviously you are from here in the end,
Yeah.
so it feels like home
Yeah.
probably. But also it's like a lot of your good friends are still
Yep,
here
yep.
and stuff, so it's like it's got to be because I actually. If I'm not going to advertise my own Instagram, but I'm sure you found it. Like if you really want to, you can probably go find it. I'm not going to stop you. But on my own Instagram, I posted an Instagram reel, which you were actually on. We went to when Michael was here in his healing process with his like finger and everything. We went to go play around a disc golf, and we did this thing where like me and Jack basically played like we both got shoot, and then we took our better shot. And Michael was playing lefty because he didn't want to like use his right hand. And I posted this Instagram reel. And it was like when you're casually playing a game of disc golf and you're getting beat by a friend who's playing lefty, and it's like a 2v1, and he's playing lefty. He's just kicking our butts like over and over.
It was bad. It was not close at all. You would think with two guys.
You think with
it
two
was
guys
not
and one
close.
playing lefty, it would be close, but it wasn't. It wasn't close. So yeah, he's like that's another thing I wanted to mention. Like, I'm not trying to like be like, oh, Micah's the best at everything, but like at the same time, it is. I'm so impressed with like not even like even just as a friend, like just watching from the outside, not even like watching you play that much professional disc golf constantly. I can just tell like you have gotten better. like you were.
Appreciate it.
I remember like. Back when you kind of like first started this hobby, you would come back and more consistently even like back then before you like
Yeah.
were on the pro tour fully, and you'd come back all the time, and we'd go play disc golf. And you obviously would kick my butt. But, like, you know, I still felt like I could, you know, throw a hole every once in a while where we tied or something.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just not like that anymore at all, obviously, which just shows the fact that you've just been improving so much. But, like, so then after that injury, how long did that take you to heal?
13 months. I sat out for 13 months. So
didn't
when I
even
come
know- I didn't
back, I
realize
had
that.
the splint, and they were like, just
Yeah.
be in the splint for 12 weeks, and then once you're done with that, you can start throwing.
Yeah.
Which my original intent was to be here for 2 weeks, start training again, and then hit the Pro Tour the very next week, which
Yeah.
that was the plan. And I was actually with Jack Gare
Yeah, I
when I
remember.
was about to, and we went to Wales, and I went to open up on one, and I threw it, and it just hurt. It hurt the same. I was like, man, it's not going to work. I don't think I'm going to be able to play. And that was pretty heartbreaking because, like, it's like my hand was debilitated for like
Yeah.
12 weeks.
Well, especially with, like, you felt like you're just, like, you broke through. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
taking the money. I'm going
Yeah.
to the Pro Tour. I want to find my groove. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then it's like instantly, it's like, nope, you got
Yeah.
to sit out now for, like, almost,
Yeah.
you got to sit out for a year.
A year. Yeah.
That's
It was
got to
insane.
be painful. So then,
Yeah.
so you finally, let's skip forward a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure that's a long healing
Yeah.
process. That probably took a lot of work, like,
Mhm.
just to get that back to the point.
And physical therapy.
Yeah,
that was
I
the
bet.
main part there. Yeah.
And then once you get back, when did you get back from that injury? When was that?
Last year, at Champions Cup again.
Okay.
Actually, so
So then,
It was
did you
really-
start? So then, did you like? How does that work? Like, do you instantly like still get to keep playing on the Pro Tour then at that point? Like,
yeah. So I hadn't played, and like your rating is updated by your play,
Yeah.
and I hadn't played in a year, so my rating was still the same. So I was
Gotcha.
thankfully able to sign up.
Got it.
But the problem is, your ratings, every round has a rating.
Yep.
And that averages out to be your actual
Yep.
rating. And so all my rounds had dropped off. So whatever I shot that event was going to be my rating. So like there was a lot of pressure to shoot good because
If you
otherwise I
didn't-
wouldn't be able to sign up for other ones.
Yeah.
So
Did you end
A
up
lot of
shooting
pressure.
good?
so I was still, my fingers still kind of hurt a little. So my PT just said, just throw all forehands. I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I went out there and I shot an 8 under the first round. First round back, tied for 5th after the first round. I was like, I'm so back, baby.
You're so back.
And
yeah.
then the next round I got humbled a little bit. But I was on the Disc Golf Network, which is like live coverage.
Yep.
And I was making big putt after big putt. And that's what a lot of people got to see my name out there was because I made like.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
remember you sent me those Instagram
Yeah.
reels of you making like crazy, like
Yeah.
20, 30-foot putts. And I'm
Dude,
like,
and a 60-footer up the hill.
Yes,
like,
I
all in a
remember
row.
that.
Dude, it was insane. It was crazy.
you were a machine. You were
Dude, I had my jump putt figured out that week. And then those 2 rounds, I got to play with the greatest player of all time, Paul Macbeth.
Yeah.
It was just insane. And
That's
I
gotta
was
be a
so
dream.
nervous. I was
That's
so
gotta be a
nervous.
dream.
Yeah, it was a dream, but I was so nervous.
I bet.
Like I
I mean,
completely
that's
crumbled.
like me being out on the test court and be like, "Oh, what up, Roger? Like,
Yeah.
what up, Djokovic?" Like,
Yeah.
That's literally like what
Yeah.
it's like. That's
I was
crazy.
just so nervous the whole time, and also like that name brings so many spectators.
Yeah.
I was just being followed, just like little 17-year-old kid
Yeah.
being followed around by 300 people, but they were there to watch Paul, and of course I was on the card, and I just kind of crumbled, and then like ended up finishing like 22nd in the event, but out of 120 people,
Yeah.
that was really
Wow.
solid, and first event back.
Yeah.
And so that helped a lot.
Yeah, so I bet you, I mean, besides the fact that you were saying you got humbled, I mean, that's still
Yeah.
probably like a pretty big confidence boost, like being like,
Yeah.
all right, I can do this. I'm
Yeah.
back. Like, let's
To
jump
be
in.
able to beat 100 people on your
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
first
First
tour
event back, yeah.
So then, beyond that, now it just gets to the point, Jack, I don't want to hog. Do you got some questions?
No, it's okay. I'll keep the chair guy narrative going. You can.
No,
you can keep
no,
talking.
I want you to hop in. Do you have some like questions or something?
I did have one. You were saying, you practice, like
Yeah.
you just do a subject, you'd go out for like 20 minutes. Like what did the average practice look like, and how did that, like change over time?
It kind of depended on how I was feeling about my game that week. Like if my putting was bad, I'd go out there and putt practice for an hour maybe.
Yeah.
And then if my driving was off, I would go figure that out. And which we were pretty blessed to have 6 acres in the
Yeah.
backyard with some trees,
yeah.
so I could figure out how to hit gaps, which that was a huge problem in the beginning. Like I did not know how to throw accurately, and so my
You
dad.
can throw far, but not accurate.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people's problem nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, as we progress in the Pro Tour, like the courses are getting longer and longer, and that's how they're making it harder. As opposed to like disc golf was supposed to be played in the woods. That's
Yeah.
why it was different. But now it's hard to get spectators in the woods. So
Yeah.
now we're just going into ball golf courses, and you're throwing as hard as you can. But back to that, our backyard. My dad and I actually built a disc golf course back there, so that's how I was practicing every single day, and it's kind of what my practice routine looked like. It was not very professionally done. It was just kind of a kid just going out there for fun. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked.
I'm here. all right,
It
you know?
obviously worked. So then, moving on with that, I see your little shirt there.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Team Discraft.
Team Discraft, they're probably the biggest brand in disc golf right now.
Yep.
I've repped them for 3 years now, and their plastic is incredible, man. And I actually gave you an Undertaker. You
Yes.
were loving that thing,
Yes,
dude.
sir.
It was sick, and they make some really good plastic. And if you guys get into disc golf, I would definitely recommend trying them out.
Yeah. So besides that being said, when did you so you signed with them, right?
I signed with them after my NADGT win.
Got it.
They just sent me a message like, "Hey, we'd love you to have on the team."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, I guess we're doing this thing."
That's pretty sick. So then you have your own discs.
I do.
What are those like? Are those like for sale? Like, can you buy one?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm actually about to have another one. Another one's about to drop at Ledgestone, which is in just a month.
That's
and
sick.
so
All right, you'll have to send me those links. I'll put them in the
Yeah, yeah.
description.
Will
Go buy
do.
his
Yes, sir.
discs.
Go
Go
buy
check the
the discs.
description.
Yes, sir.
Go
It
check
was
his
sick.
discs.
Yeah, I actually gave you one of the forces.
Yeah, you did. I
As
have
a,
it.
as
I
a thank
literally-
you gift.
I have it up in my room, signed. I was like, "Yo, when this man's professional, I'm gonna be able to sit. Like, when this man's the top dog, I have a signed disc right here in my room." So I haven't thrown that puppy since you gave it to me, but it is gorgeous. Those discs, they're nice.
Yeah,
They're nice.
dude, I love them. They're sick.
So then, let's see. Moving on. I think now I'm just kind of gonna go to like normal questions. I mean, Jack,
Yeah.
you can jump in if you have any.
You can lead the way.
I mean, I think now it just comes to like normal questions.
Yeah.
Like with being professional comes a lot, and one of the things that obviously is I think a question a lot of people would have. What does traveling look like? I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But for those who don't,
Yeah.
what is traveling for you personally, and what does it look like for other people on the tour? How do they travel versus
Yeah.
how do you travel? What is it
All right,
look like?
so I just graduated high school, so now I'm able to tour the country full time.
Yep.
And this off season, I bought a Sprinter van, and it's built out, has a bed and everything. So right now, I'm touring in that. Actually, one of my best friends, Sullivan Tipton, is with me. We're splitting gas and driving hours. And
That's convenient. Very helpful.
Very, very helpful, dude. We drove all the way from South Carolina to Stockton, and that
Wow.
is
That's a hike.
50 hours, man. It was crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then all the way up the coast
Yeah.
to Oregon, to Montana, to Minnesota. And now I'm here. So it's an insane amount of driving. But yeah, it's definitely helpful. I'm currently sleeping in the van, and then he has places to stay inside of a house or an Airbnb. So that's how it's kind of been working. That's how I've been touring the country. But a lot of the top disc golfers are just getting Airbnbs, flying out, or even just like driving to them. So
I got you. So then, with that being said, like I feel like, you travel to a lot of different places to play pro level tournaments. Like, how does it work? Like, how do you decide your schedule? And then also, are you like, if you're deciding your schedule, are you picking places? Like, I feel like if I did that, I would try to pick states where I knew people in, so
Yeah.
I could be like, "Yo, can I stay at your house and
Yeah.
then go to my tournament?" Like that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Do you do that, or do you? How do you pick your tournaments? Sort of.
unfortunately, I guess it's not really unfortunately, but the Pro Tour has its own schedule.
Oh, okay.
And you have to be following those dates.
have
On
to.
so wherever the Pro Tour is, that's where I'm going to be.
Okay.
And sometimes they have break weeks. Like this week, there's a break week, and sometimes you can pick like A and B tiers, which are lower level Pro Tours.
Got it.
You can go to those, so you can pick your schedule around that. Just like this weekend, I might be playing a B tier around here, so
Okay.
that could be fun. Yeah.
So yeah. So then, with that being said, how have you just been? You mostly play A tier events, but then,
I mostly play Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And then A tier is right under that.
Okay.
I play those, and then the occasional B tier,
Got it.
but not too many.
okay. So that's pretty cool. I mean, in general, you're just a dog.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. So, Jack, we got any other good questions? I'm trying to think of things.
Why are you trying to pass it on to me, man? I'm just here to listen to the interview.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think of other good questions people.
talk about it.
I'm just trying to think of other good questions people need to know. I mean, besides that fact, it's cool. I mean, I just am so amazed with. I'm impressed with you. This is me just once again glazing, but I'm so impressed with the fact like you were able to take just like a sport that, especially like as much as disc golf is definitely getting bigger, it's not
Yeah.
like the hugest sport.
No,
like
it's not.
just as for me, I love spike ball and like there's professional events out there and stuff, and it's really
Yeah.
cool. And that same with disc golf. Obviously, disc golf is definitely bigger than spike ball, but it's still not like it's not golf. It's
Yeah.
not tennis. That's
No,
just not how it
no,
is
no.
yet. So how does that like growth wise? How have you seen that sport grow as
It's
you've been
definitely
in
grown.
it? Like how does that look for disc golfers as a whole?
Yeah, it was definitely smaller, and it's just kept getting bigger. Like the COVID boom is really what happened. It was just
Wow.
like
So a
you-
lot of people played over COVID then?
Yeah, because like you couldn't go outside except at parks, and
Yeah.
you happened to like this was a sport you could play outdoors all by yourself, and you're not touching anything that anyone else touches because you have your own discs.
Yep.
And so people were just going out there, and that was the COVID boom. And another big reason why it grew was Brody Smith. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yep.
But he came to disc golf, and he brought his 2 million subscribers with him. And so the COVID and
He was
Brody
on
at
Dude
the same
Perfect
time.
a few times.
He
wasn't
was,
he?
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how.
Three
That's
different
how,
episodes, yeah.
That's how I know.
And he was just kind of ultimate frisbee guy, but now he plays disc golf, and that's caused the growth. And then even the past 2 years, the finale of the Pro Tour has made it on ESPN.
Yeah.
And so it's getting big.
Yeah, that's super cool. And then that's one other kind of question that you just gave me the thought of. I know obviously they're completely different things, but ultimate frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a lot of transition? Like, do you see a lot of people who play ultimate, like a lot of people who play disc golf and also play ultimate frisbee, and a lot of people who play ultimate frisbee and also play disc golf? Like, is there a lot of correlation
There
there?
are definitely a lot of correlation. Like ultimate frisbee gets a lot of people started into disc golf because just like you pretty much have to just love frisbees to want to play. Like you would just like to see the way they fly and everything. And so, like Ella Hansen and Andrew Fish are people I know of on the Pro Tour that they both came from ultimate frisbee, and it's really worked for them. So there's definitely a lot of correlation. And then like a lot of disc golfers like to play ultimate frisbee in their pastime. Just 'cause it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would say like ultimate frisbee also, as much as it is, you see that similar with the disc itself, the frisbee itself. It's also completely different.
Completely
I mean, like,
different.
Disc golfing, you're that's precision. You're
Yeah.
trying to your distance, your accuracy. I'm not saying that's not used in the other ultimate frisbee, but in ultimate frisbee, it's also like it's like soccer almost, like you're constantly running sort of vibe, like that sort of thing. So that's
For sure.
It's very different, but I could totally see the correlation and like how pros change between it, because I actually remember when I posted our Instagram reel I was talking about earlier, one of the guys in the comments was like, yo, he's got a great arm, he should play he's got a great arm, he should play ultimate. I'm like, bro, buddy's getting recruited to play ultimate frisbee on an Instagram reel I posted. Like, come on. So yeah, that's good. I'm trying to think if I got any other exciting questions. Do you got anything else exciting you need to tell me?
Yeah, you got anything to share?
Do you have anything else exciting?
Nothing too crazy. I guess just next week I have another Pro Tour in Des Moines, and that's where I'm headed next.
That's
I'm only here
super
for a
cool.
week.
Cool.
But some questions for you. When do you guys start this When in Doubt podcast?
Half a year ago. We literally hit our we hit our half year anniversary, which was there's 52 weeks in a year because I'm not tripping, right? That's how many?
Yeah.
52. So that means 26 episodes.
Somewhere like that.
26 episodes is halfway, right?
So we started December.
We
January
started
is,
exactly 26. Well, we only skipped 1 week. We've been posting an episode every single week for 26 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
We skipped 1 week, and then also actually last week we posted. This is a shout out. Go check out our first gaming episode. We did an episode where me, Noah, and Gavin, three of the boys that are actually normally on the podcast, which aren't here today. Obviously, it's a very different crew. I think it's hilarious because actually, what's funny is that recently the crew has kind of been me, Gavin, and Noah. Just recently, just because of summer things. Matthew has been off with like football stuff. He's playing college football. You've been gone doing other stuff, college stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then Liam obviously lives in Florida, so he calls in every once in a while, but not as much. He was here for a few episodes, so that was cool. But in general, it's just been us three, just convenience-wise, like how close we all live together. But it's kind of funny that the one day you're here, like we're interviewing, it's like a totally different cast.
I literally
it's like
just got here today.
Yeah,
I got
so
here this morning.
It's totally different than it normally is, which is fine. But it's just funny because you guys are so used to having Gavin and Noah here, who aren't here. But on the gaming episode, they are on that episode. We play Lethal Company. It's so much fun. Have you ever played Lethal Company before?
No.
Well,
Dude, I don't own an Xbox or a Switch.
Yeah,
or
you were.
like that.
You know what? I have something else to talk about quickly before you leave.
Oh boy.
You never had a gaming console.
Nope.
And you just recently got a Wii.
Yeah,
Just to
just got
remember
a Wii.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
And apparently this band is literally a GOAT at Wii Sports Resort Golf. Do you wanna quickly flex on us? What's your best score here?
My best score is 20 under par.
20 under
20 under par.
Wow.
That's like the third time I've heard it, and every time I hear it, I'm like, how is that even physically possible? That's crazy.
Dude, I learned from the best. My buddy Ty Love, his best is 24 under par, and I'm like his apprentice, dude. He is so nasty. It's insane.
Are we talking about disc golf or Wii golf? No,
We're done.
So yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And then besides that, like, that was like your first ever experience with like video games? in
Yeah,
general.
first ever, and I'm like catching up with everybody else. So just like slowly, I was like, bro, Wii Sports was already so sick. They're like, dude, I played that when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's been too long, man.
It's
And I'm
too
just
long.
like, dude, it's sick. What do you mean? I'm
Yeah.
catching on late. I'm sorry, man, but it's so
Hey, it's
fun.
respectable. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, while we were all playing Wii Sports Resort, he was becoming a professional disc
Yeah.
golf player. So obviously he has better things to do than us. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, the podcast, to finish answering that question, it's been amazing. It's been super fun. As much as we find plenty of people hating on us in the Instagram comments and everywhere, I don't really care. I mean, we had a whole episode on this, which I don't even know. I know you've watched some of the episodes, but one of the episodes a long while ago was like kind of just us talking about the fact that all of a sudden we have a big enough voice on like the small. I mean, I'm not even saying it is a big voice because it's not at all. It's very small, but at the same time, it's just hilarious because it's like it's funny things that happen. Like Jack Harlow randomly following our podcasts, like what? And which is crazy. If Jack Harlow is somehow watching this, massive shout out to you, dude. We're huge fans over here. We're not trying to like. It was pretty funny because when we found out he was following us on our group chat that has like all the members of the podcast, I sent a screenshot up and I was like, dude, freaking Jack Harlow's following the podcast. And then everybody on the group chat was like freaking out. And then we're like, dude, we're going to DM him. And then we're all like, no, don't DM him. No, we don't want to look thirsty, bro. Just chill. Like, just play it cool. No. So maybe this isn't playing it cool, but I don't really care. It's a huge shout out to that. That's pretty crazy. But it's also just funny because it's things like the other day, I'm not going to give too many specifics, but I was at something of my girlfriend's at some like dance thing she was doing, and some random kid who's like probably early college age, maybe senior in high school, I don't really know, but he looked about that age. He just came up to me. I was walking out of the bathroom, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, are you the guy from the When in Doubt podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, first off, why are you here? And second off, how do you what? I was soaking, and he's like, "Yo, dude, I'm a huge fan. Like, I've been watching you guys like since the start. Can I get a selfie?" And then I take a selfie with him, and then like I just go back to my girlfriend's dance, and it's like some dude. So if you're listening to this, which you probably are, because if you're willing to take a picture with me, it probably means you watch the podcast. So huge shout out to you, dude. You know who you are. Thank you for taking a picture with me. That was super cool. That literally made my day. That was hilarious. So it's like funny things like that, because it's like, yes, we are super small, but at the same time, it's like apparently all of a sudden we have a big enough reach where it's like, although we have haters, people actually do care. There's people out there like, I sent the other day also, I got a little annoyed with some of the other people on the podcast, but there's just, we talked in the group chat about it, and so, people were saying like, it's half the people who follow the podcast follow it like ironically, which okay, yes, probably yes,
might be true,
but at the same time, it's also cool because the other part that don't, like literally I get DM, we have hundreds, literally not even over exaggerating, we have hundreds of DMs of people being like, yo, like huge fans of the podcast. And also just to kind of back that up, like we started Cameo, shout out to our Cameo. You can get, well, you guys can pay us a little, not a lot, obviously we're very small, barely have to pay us, but we'll send you a personalized video of happy birthday or whatever you want to send. And like within 2 days we have like $70 worth of requests from people like requesting like happy birthday messages, awesome. Or like messages from, and it's just cool to see like people who are like actually like care, what I mean? Like, because a while ago I kind of did something, like I kind of did my own like YouTube channel thing, like every kid does when they're young, like they're like, oh dude, I want to be dude perfect, like that sort of thing. But I never had the motivation, I never had the people to back me up, and to be able to have now like 6 people who are consistently like being like, all right, we got to get this podcast out. I want to film this. I want to. Why are you looking like that?
6 people.
Okay. Well, Jack shows up once in a blue moon, but to be fair, he's here today, so I can say 6. But like people who like are consistently like, all right, we got to film this. We got to figure out what we're doing. We got to edit it. We got to do this. Like to consistently almost like keep me accountable for what we're doing. It makes it so that we're actually able to be consistent, because if I was doing this by myself, there's no way I would be as consistent as we've been. And we've been so consistent, which is actually one of the reasons I think we do pretty well, is because of just how consistent we've been.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my side. I don't know why I'm doing so much talking. You're the interviewee. I don't know what I'm doing.
Dude, I'm all for it, man. Yeah. Just let Hayden talk.
No, trust me.
Let chair guy roll.
If you see the comments, bro, they will flame me. It's crazy. I'm like, bro, okay, I'm hosting the podcast. What do you want me to do? Not talk? You just want me to sit here and just look at the camera? Like, bro, it's a podcast. Like, chill, bro. They're out here like hating on me because I talk so much, but at the same time, it's like, what are you listening to? You want me to just sit here like? No, nobody wants to watch that. Nobody just wants me to stare at the camera for 30 minutes. Like, bro, I gotta tell you stuff, even if it's boring. You're the one listening to it. Like,
dude, I love listening to it.
I know. Hey, some people do. Some people do. So yeah.
And like kind of going back to like the guy seeing you, like it's pretty cool that people know your name or know who you are.
Yeah.
Like even like when I first started, like even today, like if somebody knows my name, it catches me off guard. Like
I
it's
literally, I wanted to
crazy.
ask you, like, along with me saying, like, oh, people randomly come up to me, say that, like, that's gotta be pretty cool, like,
Yeah.
people being able to, like, stop you, be like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of disc golf, like, I know you play disc golf, like, how, has that happen? I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah, at some courses, like especially if I'm wearing a Team Discraft shirt, like people do say hi and stuff, and it's like it's pretty cool. And like
Yeah.
if you do see me, like don't be nervous at all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just a person.
Yeah,
bro.
just a dude.
Especially I'm just a little 18-year-old kid, man.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool. And then like even when I'm playing and people like say good shot, Mike, I was like, wow, they actually know my name. Like it's
Yeah.
actually kind of crazy.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's cool it's funny to think that there's literally probably people out there who are like, man, I'm such a huge fan of Micah. Like, I wish I knew him. Like, that sort of stuff. It's always funny when it's like, when you're like either like that or even like a smaller like content creator sort of vibe. It's like these people like, okay, yeah, you could argue like, oh, they're kind of like they're trying to. You could kind of say they're semi-famous. They're not at all, but like you know what I mean. Like you could argue like they have some sort of fame due to something like whatever that is. And it's like realistically speaking, bro, if you full serious, if you DM me and like, yo, what up? Like, what's your snap? Like, are you chill? Like,
What's your snap?
no, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just a dude. Like, I'm not gonna be like, it's not to level where it's like some like actual celebrity where like you can't even DM them. Like, they're not gonna look at your DM.
Yeah.
Like, of course I'm gonna look at it. Like, if somebody DMs you,
Yeah.
you're gonna look at it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
like even if it's some random dude, like, yeah, okay, if you say something annoying, we're not gonna respond. But at the same time, like, if you're just send us a text, it's like, yo, huge fan of your work or huge fan of your disc golf,
Yeah.
whatever that is, we're gonna look at it. Like, we're not that like. all
And we also
stuck up.
appreciate all the support.
Oh, 100%.
Have to.
100%. It's you'd be surprised. I'm sure this is backing up because you'd say this too, but every DM you get, every just little comment of just somebody saying like, yo, I'm a fan, like keep up the hard work, stuff like that. It's like, it's something small and it's all with like the thing where like, oh, one word can make somebody's day. But it's truly serious because like somebody just DMing me like, yo, I'm a serious fan of the podcast, like keep up the hard work. I know you guys work hard on that, blah, blah, whatever it is. That literally like is like, wow, thanks, dude. Like that means a lot. Like even if I'm just doing this podcast for one or two actual fans, at least there's actual people out there who are like enjoying it. And that's probably how it is even when you're at a lower level of whatever sport you're at. I mean,
Even like people buying my discs, like I get like $5 from that, and like that helps so much.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, like that just keeps like my car going, man.
It keeps the car going.
It keeps it going.
You gotta
man.
pay
I
for gas
appreciate
somehow.
everybody. I appreciate everybody who's bought my discs. Like it's awesome.
I bet. That's so cool, dude. Well, this was an absolutely incredible interview.
Dude.
It's so fun to sit down with you. And also, what's cool is that, so Mike is here for like a week, which actually probably means we'll probably film another podcast, which means you'll get Mike on another podcast. This was the interview episode so that you guys can kind of get introduced to him. But now the next episode, we might even have a returning guest. This is kind of a sneak peek, which I'll probably... I'll break the news. I think we're gonna have Nick Gross back on, the gel guy in all the Instagram comments. You know, he's a huge fan, and he is we're gonna plan on filming a podcast with him. I think it'll be me, Micah, maybe hopefully Gavin, Noah. We'll see who we can all get here, Jack, whatever. But Nick will be back. Well, Jack, we'll see. But Nick will be back on next episode, so it's gonna be really cool because Mike will still be around. But now you know who Mike is. You got the full backstory. Dude's a baller, and all the links will be in the description for Micah's stuff. I'll link like your Instagram, all that sort of stuff, all your disc golf stuff, your discs.
Yeah.
Go if you're a disc golf fan, go check out the discs. Obviously, also in the description, you'll have our stuff, all of our TikTok, Instagram, Discord, all of it. Cameo's new if you want to go get a personalized video, whatever that is. All the links will be below. You guys can go check it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 27.
Thank you guys for having me so much.
Oh yeah.
My pleasure, bro.
Yes, sir.
My pleasure. It's so fun to have you here. Let's clap it off. Episode 27. Nice job, guys. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.